Today, we welcome to the program Royce White. Royce is a Republican running for the U.S. Senate seat, actually Amy Klobuchar's seat, interestingly enough. Royce has been endorsed by Steve Bannon and Alex Jones in the Minnesota Republican Party, also hosts the Please Call Me Crazy podcast, available on YouTube. Royce, if I understand correctly, in 2020, you wrote in Tulsi Gabbard, but you're behind Trump currently. Is that right?
That is correct.
So listen, you came to my attention in a clip I talked about the other day, where you said one of the issues you find right now is that women have become, quote, too mouthy. Tell me about that. How did you come to believe that?
Well, first of all, I was being humorous.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, no, I was being pretty humorous. I'm kind of a sick puppy. I got a sort of unique humor, but
Hmm.
I will say that it is my opinion, but
Yeah.
I think even more so a fact that the left has weaponized identity politics in our current political culture,
Mm.
and that the identities of women, the LGBTQ, blacks, and Jews are all sort of used in a similar fashion to manufacture consent, that being an American citizen isn't so much that important anymore. And so
Give me an
what I meant,
example of that. Give me an example of that. So
well,
let's just pick one of those, for example.
well,
Well,
let's take all four, because they're all four fruit from the same poisonous tree.
but just so that it's clear to the
Okay.
audience, let's just
Okay.
pick one as an example to show kind of your
Okay.
line of reasoning. How has female identity been
Yes.
weaponized in order to show that being an American citizen isn't important?
Well, number one, the feminist movement and the women's rights movement have been clumped into a more global citizen based ideology, that we are all one global citizenship, and the women's rights movement is at the helm of that, much by their own powerful organization, grassroots, not only here in the country but all around the world.
If that were
A-
the case, though, Royce, and I'm just trying to
Mhm.
understand this, I want this to be a
But
conversation.
wait a second, wait a second. But what I'm saying is, and let me be even more specific.
Yeah.
The prevailing consensus around the women's rights movement and the feminist movement are ideas such as believe all women. That was popular with the Me Too movement, and then you have an even more pervasive idea that in general, and it's said casually, but it's said with a lot of emphasis and potency, let's say, that men are not useful, and that women are the women in their existence in this country politically right now today, but sort of all around the world, are nothing more than a byproduct of a tyrannical patriarchy. And by that definition, or by that thinking, that men are more so a hindrance on society and
Who says
useless.
that?
And
Who says men aren't useful?
oh,
Give me a name.
well, I mean, for one is Anna Navarro, self-described Republican centrist Anna Navarro, sat
Anna
right up there.
Navarro says that men aren't useful.
Anna Navarro sat right up there on The View with Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of them, and she made a joke about men not being useful except for gay men because they're very good at gossip and accessorizing. She
But
said it right
we
there on national
started this
television.
interview with you saying, oh, what you said about women being mouthy is a joke. You're conceding what Anna Navarro said is a joke. And so you're one example
Well,
of
no, I
women.
don't
Hold
think
on a
it's a
second. Let me
joke.
get the question out,
I don't
Royce.
know. I don't think
Hold on
it's
a
a
second,
joke.
Royce. Hold on. You
No,
just
wait
said
a
it's a
second.
joke.
Let's
You just
be
said
clear.
it's a joke.
No, I didn't. I said what I said was said in humor, but it had a lot of validity to it. I don't think what Anna Navarro said was a joke, even though it was said in a joking setting.
How
I
do you
actually
know it
think
wasn't a joke then?
no, I said I don't think it's a joke.
Okay.
Just like people would say they don't think what I said is a joke. I have the right to think that. My point is that there is a growing ideology that you can see by looking at social media, which is a good temperature gauge of what people think, obviously, because you're bringing up something I said that was posted on social media.
Well, I don't
Um,
want to get bogged down in this necessarily, but it sounds, Royce,
no, it's
like
not.
you're
No,
one
it's not bogged down.
example.
It's important detail.
It sounds like you're one detail of the prevailing view of the feminist movement being men aren't useful is something Anna Navarro said jokingly. Is that
No, no,
right?
no, 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 no. Nan Navarro, just like you're trying to represent my views, or let's not say you, let's say the mainstream media has tried to represent my view about women in general based on one soundbite from one podcast as a general sort of
Yeah, but
picture
forget
of.
about that, Royce. I'm
No,
just
no, let's
asking
not
you, what
forget
are your
about it. No, no,
examples?
no, no, let's not forget about it. If you're going to keep interrupting me, then I'm going to keep interrupting you. What I'm
This is
saying
going
is that
nowhere, though.
the mainstream media, no, you're saying it's not going anywhere. I'm explaining it perfectly fine. The mainstream media is trying to depict or paint a picture of a rising, let's say, misogynist America First movement based on my one soundbite. But then you turn around and say, well, you can't talk about all feminist ideology based on Ana Navarro. What are we talking about? I'm not,
No, so
first of all, I'm
let's
not
see if
doing
we
that.
can reframe. No, let's see if we can
Okay.
reframe, Royce, and then we'll
Okay.
move on.
Okay.
You've sort of been leading this, okay? You identified a number of groups. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me just get the question out. And then if you disagree with the question, then the audience can judge for themselves.
Okay.
You indicated a number of groups. You named women, and you
Yes.
named Jews, and you named others
Blacks
that are
and the
making it so that
LGBTQ.
being an American citizen is no longer super important. We focused in.
Blacks,
Hold on a second, Royce. I gotta
women,
be
the
able to get the question out if we
LGBTQ, and
can.
Jews. I want to be clear.
Hold on a sec. You
Don't say
named
in
a
other
number of
groups. Don't say and other groups. The four groups were blacks, the LGBTQ, women, and Jews.
Yes. We focused in on women.
Yes.
And I asked you for examples. And
Yes.
the one example that you have provided to justify the claim you made is something Ana Navarro said on The View.
No, just an example.
Well, give me another example. Who are the people saying that men are not useful?
Oh, well, they're not. Well, that just happened to be what Ana Navarro said specifically.
But you said that that's
ideology,
a narrative. Who says it?
The ideology is that men represent the remnant of a tyrannical patriarchy, and by default, the usefulness of men is in question at a societal-wide basis.
Okay. I don't want to use all our time on this, but it sounds like we're not going to get any more examples, and the audience can kind of judge that for themselves.
Hey, you can pick anybody you want. The whole Me Too movement was based on the claim that we should believe all women. Do you think we should believe all women?
Well, that we've already talked about. It's a completely different question, and it has to do with
No,
what
it's
is the
not.
responsibility of police to
Wait a
investigate
second.
if
Wait a
there's
second.
probable
Wait a
cause, and
second.
it has nothing whatever.
Wait a second.
Whatever
It's
to
not
do
a
with the
different question.
usefulness of being
It's
an
not a
American
different
citizen.
question at all. It certainly does, because there are fundamental rights of being an American citizen, one of which has always been the presumption of innocence. Number one. So there is complete merit to bring it into question when we talk about American citizenship.
Royce,
But,
you understand
again,
that when police investigate crimes, they investigate crimes, but that doesn't take away the presumption of innocence in a court of law. Like, this is basic legal stuff, Royce.
No. It takes away the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion.
But this is crazy.
It takes away the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion, which now in today's world can be just as dangerous as the opinion in the court of law. And even for
false rape claims are 0.02% of all sexual assault claims.
According to you. According
to crime reporting from police departments all over the country.
According to you and
the police departments.
According to you, then why don't they bring more claims?
Who?
Why don't more make it to the courtroom?
What claims?
Because they lack evidence. The reason why police departments say, first of all, again, you're trying to sidetrack me and you keep interrupting me. You brought me on your show.
You created this sidetrack.
You brought me on your show. You brought me on your show.
And we're not
asked me about a question about women. I'm answering a question about feminists and the feminist movement.
Hold on, Royce. You
the point is when you assume that all women are telling the truth, or that we should believe all women on face value, by default,
I don't know anyone who has said that.
The whole movement of the whole Me Too movement was based on this idea that believe all women.
That's your assertion. I don't believe that to be true.
Oh, okay. Well, you let your viewers decide then. Let's go to the next question.
Trust but verify is the view that I've always had.
Believe all women was the commercial, widespread commercial. Believe all women was the widespread commercial and cultural sentiment from the Me Too movement, 150,000%.
You know, Royce, you sidetracked us on believe all women, right? You brought it up out of nowhere.
The believe all women idea is a part of the claim that women have become mouthy.
Okay. Let me ask about a couple of other things.
And I will say,
in
that vein, when women are allowed to say things about men with no boundaries or no constraints whatsoever, and it's culturally accepted across American culture and across political culture, that is, in my opinion, more than a valid reason to be able to say, hey, women are getting out of control. And I do think radical feminists are getting out of control. I should have been more specific, but
I get the
I thought I was
point
being
that
humorous.
You think women are out of control. I got it.
No. I said radical feminists are out of control. Be clear. And they are. That's why they're bringing their children to drag stripper shows.
Let me ask about a couple
Do
of
you
things.
think that's okay? Do you think it's okay to sexualize children at drag stripper shows?
I don't think the children are being sexualized if they go to a drag show. No, I just don't think that that's the sexualization of children.
You don't think children are being? Would it be okay for me as a grown adult male to take underage kids to a regular strip club?
I don't think they're allowed. No.
So why are they allowed to do it in
Royce,
but why aren't they allowed?
Royce,
Why aren't they allowed? Is it because of the alcohol or because of the sexualization?
I don't know the laws around strip clubs. I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
but Royce,
okay.
if
maybe
I
you
can
should
get
learn
a
them though, because you're
here,
talking about drag shows. You have an opinion about the drag shows, and you say
brought
that's
them
completely fine.
Royce, you brought
right, but
them
you
up.
have an opinion about.
I'm gonna
that.
have to mute you, Royce. I'm gonna have to mute you.
Okay.
You're bringing up topics and then telling me I brought them up. This isn't a way to be interviewed as a serious
I didn't say
person.
that. I didn't say you brought it up. I said you had an
You
opinion
told me
about
I
it.
brought up Believe All Women and that I brought up drag shows.
No, I
you
didn't.
brought those issues
No,
up.
I
You
did not
just
say
said
that. They'll be able to watch it back and see
They
for
will.
themselves how
They
it
will.
went.
Let's
I
leave
didn't
it
bring.
for
I
people
didn't
to
say
watch
you brought
back.
it up. I
Royce.
brought it up. I'm going to bring up every topic I want to bring up.
Oh, so
you white
are
liberals are
admitting you
not
brought
going to
it up.
tell you. Yeah, I brought up the feminist movement and I brought up the drag stripper shows as an example.
Can we continue the interview?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You brought up strip clubs. It was
Right.
recently revealed you spent campaign donations at a strip club. Is that true?
That's not true.
Okay. It's been sourced very well by the Daily Beast. Where'd they get this information?
The Daily Beast, first of all, the Daily Beast is not a good source. That's number one. But number two, it wasn't well sourced even in that article at all. It was a reference to a campaign filing with the FEC that was not done properly.
Who didn't do the filing properly?
Whoever was in charge of the filing.
And who was that?
Well, there were a number of people, I would assume, who were in charge of getting that accounting done, but it wasn't.
You don't know who the people are doing your accounting?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I know who they are. Do you want me to list the entire list of people who worked on it?
Yeah.
So you have time for me to go through a list of people who worked on the filing, but you don't have time to talk about the details of the political issues you want to discuss?
Well, how many people is it? Give
me a break. Who do you people think you're fooling?
I don't think we're fooling anybody.
Who do you people think you're fooling?
So the people who prepared
I answered your question.
The reports.
I answered the question.
I'm trying to understand it, Royce. The people who prepared the reports.
The answer is no. The answer to your question is no.
I haven't even asked the question yet.
You did. You asked, did I spend campaign finance money on strippers?
And you responded, and now I want to ask a follow-up.
Okay.
Your claim is there were filings which said you spent campaign funds at a strip club, but they were incorrect filings.
No, they didn't say that I spent the funds at a strip club. Or no, let's say they didn't say that I spent the funds on strippers.
But it was spent at a strip club.
Well, strip club they sell food at the strip club, don't they?
So you've spent the money on food at a strip club. Is that more accurate?
You seem to be very unfamiliar with strippers and strip clubs and drag strip shows. So I'll inform you, maybe you aren't informed, that they do have food at strip clubs.
So what you're saying is the money was spent
did you
at
know
a strip
that though?
club.
Did you know that?
I know strip clubs have restaurants.
Have you ever been to a strip club?
One time.
Did you like the food?
No.
You got to go to better strip clubs then.
Okay. But so what you're saying is you did spend the money at strip clubs, but on food. Is that right?
Well, I'm not saying that I spent the money. I'm saying that there was a filing on my FEC report that shouldn't have been there and potentially should have been reimbursed by somebody who may have been at the strip club, but that there is food at the strip club. So to say it was spent on strippers is not based on factual evidence.
I didn't say that.
Especially not from the day you did.
I said it's strip club, not strippers.
No, well, okay. Well,
Which
that's
is the
what's
same thing you're
implied
saying,
by
right?
the Daily Beast.
It's the same thing you're saying, right? So we agree.
But that's what's been implied by the Daily Beast and other people as well.
Money was spent at a strip club by someone else in your campaign on
that's
food.
That's what's been implied by the Daily Beast and other mainstream media outlets as well.
And what's the truth?
I just told you.
Someone else bought food at a strip club with campaign funds.
No, I told you about the FEC filing. You seem to have a lot of time for this one.
Well, it's because you're so obviously lying.
Okay. I'm so obviously lying.
Yeah, just tell me the truth. So did a staffer spend money on food at a strip club?
You white liberals have a lot of nerve.
That's identity politics.
You white liberals
Royce.
hate when black men vote Republican. You hate when black men say that they like being American citizens. You hate when black men say that we want to have a border. You hate when black men say stop sending our money to the Ukraine. And you go to the WWE politics to try and defend your latent racism. That's what it is.
Hold on a second, Royce. Aren't you against identity politics?
Absolutely.
So what are you talking about white liberals for, especially when
what do you
I'm
mean?
a Hispanic Jewish immigrant from Argentina?
Yeah, right, but you have a white liberal ideology. That's what's funny about it.
Oh, that's something different. All right, Royce, listen, when you start hurling
No, you
stuff
do.
around like that,
You do.
we do have to end the
You
interview,
have a
all right?
post World War II democratic liberal order, white liberal ideology.
All right. The man who denounces identity politics is playing identity
No, I'm
politics.
not.
Royce, I really appreciate you
No,
being
I'm
on
not.
today,
Your
all
latent
right?
racism is obvious. Make sure you post the interview. Don't be a coward. And
I can assure you,
feel
Royce.
free to have me back on anytime so we can talk in detail where you don't cut me off. I like this kind of stuff. You people
I can
don't.
assure you. Oh, I love it.
You people hope that every black Republican or black America First that shows up is going to kowtow and sort of, curl up and run into the corner when you cut people off.
Okay.
That doesn't bother me.
Royce, I can assure you, we will be posting Royce, you're on a new topic now. I can assure you, we will
radical
post the
feminists
interview,
in this
okay?
country have certainly gotten way beyond the pale in terms of their ideology.
Royce,
100,000%.
you have my
You
word.
think
We
it's
will
okay to
post
take
the
little kids to drag
interview.
stripper shows, but you don't think it's okay for grown men to get the chicken wings from strip clubs?
Royce,
you don't think that that's weird?
It sounds like a campaign finance violation. It's not my opinion. But Royce, we got to end the interview.
Oh, you can get
okay?
food for donors. You can get food for donors from anywhere in the country you want.
We got to end the interview.
I could cater from Mr. Chow's, or I could get chicken wings from a strip club. That doesn't matter. But you want to take little kids to strip clubs, drag strip clubs.
All right,
and you think
Royce,
that's okay.
Best of luck with the campaign, okay?
Godspeed to you.
All right,
Don't be a coward.